Hello, all my dear students, and welcome to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and educator Amit Ajmani. I hope you all are doing good and studying well. We have completed a lot many topics and chapters till now, and I'm sure that you must have been practicing them side by side and revising them also so as to retain them. In today's class, I'll be discussing with you the topic Preci writing. It is spelled out as Precis, but normally while speaking, we make S silent. So it is not precis writing, it is called preci writing. Now, the goal and objective of this chapter, preci writing, is to make you as a learner enable to apply the skills and strategies of a successful reader. Every successful reader has got some skills, and obviously he must be having some strategies in order to read well, and that is what we'll be learning in this chapter. Another goal is to develop your critical thinking, your reading and writing skills. After doing this chapter, you will be able to learn how to condense and how to synthesize. The condensing and synthesizing techniques will be taught to you. In order to condense means shorten the given paragraph or the given topic, right? And to create something, synthesize something. You will be able to develop a basic understanding of Preci writing and its nuances. This is what exactly this chapter is going to make you do. Now, in this chapter, our objective is to skim. Skim means reading the text quickly. Why? Because this is one of the characteristic of a successful reader, that he knows how to read the text quickly, how to skim through the text, and while reading it quickly, we should be able to identify the main idea or the main theme of the text. That should not be lost. It should not be like we are just trying to read quickly in order to fulfill the formality of reading it. No, we should have a grasp of the main idea. We should be able to scan for the details which are specified. Scanning is, we all know, that you are actually looking at all the parts of the text carefully. So you are going through the text quickly, but keeping in view whatever detail is given, and after reading it, we need to differentiate between the main ideas and the supporting details. Just as we have done in the case of note making, we have to differentiate as to what are the main ideas given and what are the details just in order to support those ideas. And we need to sift through the given material to identify the most important details. After that, we have been able to understand. Now we will be providing an appropriate title for the given information or the given text, and then we'll be writing a preci out of the given text in as few words as possible, but not compromising with the main idea, not leaving behind any important detail, not distracting ourselves from the theme of the text. This is what our objective is. Fine. So let us start up with Preci writing. Let us try to have the introduction part as to what exactly is Preci writing. Preci writing means a shortening of a text. and that you are going to do in your own words. So shortening of text in one's own words, that is known as précis writing. Now this précis word is actually derived from the French word précis, which means precise. Precise means accurate. So from the name itself we can relate that a précis gives an accurate and concise description of the substance, of the crux, of the main idea contained in the text without losing its meaning. Got it? So you don't have to lose the meaning, you don't have to distract from the main idea. It is, in other words, an exact reproduction of the logic of the organization and the emphasis of the original text, but in a shorter version, in less words, and in our own words. Now, this précis writing is a very useful exercise. Why? Because it gives us training in lot many things, like in careful reading, then in developing our capacity to differentiate, to discriminate between the essential and the non-essential, between the main and the subordinate, between the important and the unimportant. And because we are going to write a précis in minimum words possible, and this précis writing insists on an economy of words, we need to learn to choose our words carefully, and similarly we'll be constructing our sentences in a very concise manner. This is what we are going to do. Fine. Now, in some way, précis writing can also be called as summarizing the text. But there is a difference between précis and summary. What are the differences between précis and summary? Let us try to understand. Usually the word summary is used loosely to refer to précis, but there are subtle, very small differences between them. What are these? The first and the most important difference is that a précis is a brief statement of a piece of writing, such as a report or an article or a chapter from a book or any text. But if we try to relate a summary, summary is a short account of longer pieces of work, such as a thesis or a novel. This is the first difference between précis and summary. The second difference between them is that the précis follows the order and proportion of the material in the original text, while the writer of the summary is free to change the order and proportion if he wishes to do so. Because in summary he is just going to give the conclusion of what exactly the text is saying without keeping in view the order or the proportion, but this is not the case with précis. In précis we need to be coherent, we need to be synchronized, and we need to relate the exact order and the exact proportion of all the material, all the text. Fine, this is the second difference. One more difference is there, and that another important difference between the précis and summary is that précis states only the thought of the original text, whereas the writer of the summary is free to interpret the material and to comment upon it. So, the writer's viewpoint, the writer's perspective can also be there in case of a summary, but no such thing is found while we are writing précis. While writing the précis, we need to only and only reproduce the thought of the original text. No personal views, no personal comments, no interpretations on our part is included in précis writing. Got it? Now let us see what are the qualities of a good précis. Now, a good précis displays the writer's writing skills, and therefore it should have certain qualities. Now, what are these qualities? Let us try to relate one by one. The first important quality is clarity. It is very essential that whatever ideas, the whatever thoughts are presented in the précis should be clear and they should be easily comprehensible. Whoever is the reader, he should be able to clearly relate and he should be able to comprehend the précis that we have written. And that is why we use simple language, we use simple structures, because of which we can ensure that there is no ambiguity. So this is the first quality of a good précis. The second quality that a précis should include is objectivity. The writer of a précis must have an objective approach. How come? He should be able to write a précis that is unbiased and purely a summary of the original text. Once again, a need to remind is no personal interpretations should be included while writing a précis. We should not be biased, it should be unbiased. So we need to have an objective approach being the writer of a précis. So this is the second quality of a good précis. The third quality is correctness. As a writer, we need to ensure that not just the facts but also the grammar, the sentences, they should also be without any kind of flaws, without any kind of errors. Why so? Because if we will commit such errors, these errors can obscure the meaning of the message. They can lead to altogether a wrong interpretation. So we need to be correct, factually also, grammatically also. Clear? The next quality of a good précis is coherence. A good précis should be coherent. What is meant by being coherent? It means that the ideas must be presented in a way that shows the connections clearly. It should not be going out of the flow. It should not be a mess of the thoughts. The flow should be smooth. Fine. The next quality that we need to maintain while writing a good précis is completeness. As a writer of a précis, we should include all the important facts from the text in the précis. We should not leave any important detail, right? We have to make sure that no important fact can be omitted to make the summary short. There are times when just in order to write the précis in the least possible words, we tend to omit or overlook a few facts which actually were quite important, which actually were quite related. So this is a skill that we need to develop so as to differentiate between the important and the unimportant. We should not be omitting any important fact, any important detail. So our précis should be complete in terms of the important ideas, the main theme of the passage given to us. And Another important quality of a good précis is conciseness. Conciseness is a desirable quality of a good précis. A piece of writing is considered concise if it conveys the message in the fewest possible words. Fine. But once again, we need to relate the above point that just in order to mention our précis or our conclusion in the fewest possible words, we should not omit any essential facts to achieve this conciseness, because then it is going to lose its purpose altogether. So these are a few qualities of a good précis. What are these? A good précis should be clear and easily comprehensible by the reader. The writer needs to be having an objective approach in an unbiased manner. He should be able to write a pure summary without his own interpretations or his own ideas and comments. We need to relate the correctness both of the facts as well as of the grammar and sentences. We need to be coherent. Our ideas should be smooth and synchronized. A good précis should be complete. It should convey the whole idea, the main theme, without losing track of the important points. And it needs to be as concise as possible. Fine. So these are the few qualities, and this is what, as a learner, you need to relate, you need to understand, and you need to implement. Now, after taking care of all these things, you are supposed to write a précis. So let us see what are the procedures for writing a good précis. Précis writing procedure. We need to follow a few steps while writing a précis. Let us try to describe and understand all these steps one by one. Step number one that you need to follow is read the passage carefully. And if required, you can read the passage more than once. Why? Because the very first requirement of the writer is to understand the text well enough to extract its central or the main idea. So we need to go through the passage, if required, once, more than once, just in order to relate the basic and the central main idea of the given passage. Now, once that is clear, we move on to step 2. Now, we need to decide what facts or ideas in the text are essential and what are of secondary or supporting or of no importance. Fine. This is one of the main things, because if you want to represent a passage in minimum possible words, obviously you need to deduct, you need to subtract a few lines, a few ideas. And this with experience, with practice, you need to learn that in a particular passage, what all is the main idea given, what are the essential things that are required in order to support that particular idea. Side by side, we need to relate what are the secondary things. Supporting things are different, secondary things are different, and we need to relate what are the non-essentials, because there are certain times that in order to emphasize on one particular main idea, few examples are given. So we need to focus on the main idea. If two, three, or four examples are given just in order to confirm or to reassure or to emphasize the same main idea, we need to forego it. We need to leave it. Once again, we need to focus on the main idea. the essential part, not the non-essential part. And for that purpose, a good idea is you underline the important terms and the important ideas, because by underlining them you are able to make yourself comfortable that when you will be writing a précis you have to include these terms and these ideas specifically. Clear? Now after getting the essential and non-essentials, what we need to do is we move on to step number 3. We have to select a suitable title for the proposed précis. Title, obviously we have been doing note making, we have been doing so many things till now with which we have a basic idea of writing the titles. The titles should refer to the actual theme of the passage. The first thing is we need to relate the theme, and then we need to present it in the form of a suitable title. So we need to choose our words in such a way that just by going through the title the reader can understand what the given passage was all about. Fine. Now you have selected a title, you have selected all the essential, important and non-essential, unimportant things. We move to step number 4. Now collect all the key points, and keeping all the key points in mind, prepare a first draft of the précis. Now why we are saying it is the first draft? Because we have to keep in mind the need to reduce the original text, and that is normally done to one third its length. There is as such no word limit to a précis. The main idea of a précis is that we should reduce the original text to its one third. So if we are given a passage of 50 words, we need to write the précis in about 16 to 18 words. But if the passage is of 100 words, then in that case the précis needs to be written in 35 words or so. But if we are given a particular passage which is very long, probably around 600 words, that means it contains so many things, you can't express all that main idea in just about 35-40 words. So précis doesn't have any word limit specifically. It is just that whatever passage is given to you, you need to relate what is the length, approximate length of that passage, and you need to keep in your mind that when you are writing a précis, your précis should be approximately one third of the original length of the text or passage given to you. Clear? And now when we are preparing this first draft, it is a rough draft, right? It is a vague draft, but this draft should contain the main thoughts which are expressed in the passage, the ideas which the passage is containing, the opinions which are being presented in the passage, and the conclusion arrived at. All these things should be the part of the rough draft that we have made. I repeat, we need to mainly focus on the main thoughts, the ideas of the passage, the opinions which are presented in the passage, and what is the conclusion which has been arrived at through that passage. All these things should include our rough draft that we have made. Now once we have made a rough draft, then we need to read the draft again, and that is our step number 5. Why we are reading the draft? Because while we are including all the main ideas and conclusions and opinions, it may happen that it is still too long. So if that happens, if you feel that your rough draft is still too long, you need to focus on how to shorten it further, and if required, once again, now you will be choosing the best out of the better ones, and now you still need to relate that the rough draft that you have made, out of that, which were one of the most essential things which are must to be written. And comparatively, if you find that there is something which is just again not that much of relative importance, you can omit that which is not necessary to the central idea. Or the another way is that you can express the same thing. If you cannot reduce the ideas, the number of ideas, the number of points, then you should try to remodel your sentences such that the same idea can be expressed in less words. Right? Now, once this step 5 is done, as a normal practice, you should succeed in producing a good précis by the time you have done this step number 5. Clear? Now, after this, the last step is that when you have made your second or so-called your final draft, then carefully revise your précis to ensure, to confirm that you have the bare minimum of words necessary to express the idea of the passage. Wherever you find that the words are more, wherever you find that you can reduce the words by expressing in some other way, make sure you do it. And once that is done, you need to check to make sure that the précis has been written in words that are your own and not those of the author. Clear? So these are the few steps which you can and you should take in order to write a good précis. Let us try to relate once again. First of all, the first step is to read the passage carefully. Why so? In order to understand the text, in order to understand the central or the main idea. Second step is to differentiate between the essential and the non-essential things. Third thing, try to keep a suitable title in your mind because it will be the central idea on which the whole passage, the whole précis is going to revolve around. Next step is to make a rough draft including the ideas and the opinions. Next step is to read the draft and now once again select the best possible ones according to you. And once you have done it, then rewrite and make a final version of the précis and revise it. And while writing, while expressing, you need to make sure that you have to use maximum of your own words, your own vocabulary. Do not try to just copy the text from the passage. There are certain things which will need to be copied as it is, agreed, but try to remodel your sentences. Clear? Now, when you are writing a précis, these are a few points you need to relate, you need to keep in mind. Let us try to relate these points one by one. They are all very important. First thing is that as I have already told you, a précis must not exceed one third of the length of the original passage. There is no word limit as such for a précis. Précis writing is dependent on the length of the passage given in the question. Clear? It should be one third, so approximate word length you need to make out while you are reading the passage, and side by side you need to keep in your mind that how much should be the length of your précis. Second point to remember is You need to identify the central idea and omit the unnecessary details. Now, this is again and again, it has been repeated third or fourth time that the main idea needs to be focused and emphasized. We should not go round and round and not hitting the actual main idea. This mistake normally is done by the students. You need to make sure that you hit the exact right spot. Clear? Next thing you need to remember is you need to eliminate the wordy expressions from the précis and avoid unnecessary repetition, because the same thing, if has to be conveyed, then what is the need of using two or three examples? Only the main crux needs to be reproduced. Clear? Quite important point. Every précis should have a short and appropriate title. Title is must, and that title should be short, and it should be conveying the exact central idea. It should represent the passage. Fine? And it should be written in the words of the précis writer, not your own, in the sense that your own interpretations should not be included. A good précis is always unbiased. Clear? Another important thing to remember is that the main ideas of the original text should be presented in the same order in the précis. Why? Because this is exactly the main difference between the précis and a summary. The order needs to be the same. You cannot just manipulate as per your own interpretations of the passage. You need to follow the sequence of the passage, and do not introduce ideas of your own in the précis. No need of doing it. A précis is just a reproduction of the thought of the writer, and it is not that you are going to comment upon it as per your understanding. So we do not have to criticize or to change the author's ideas. Whatever he is saying, we need to just repeat it in our words. We just need to reproduce in the minimum possible words, but we don't have to manipulate the actual passage given. And always try to use the third person and reported speech and past tense while writing a précis. These three things please keep in your mind. A précis should not include first and second person. It should be reported speech that we should use, and past tense is used while writing a précis, with exception of universal truths. If there is any universal truth conveyed in the passage, that should be written in the present tense only. So these are the various points you need to remember while and before writing a précis. Clear? So I hope you all have a basic idea of what a précis is. Let us try to understand it better with the help of few solved examples. Let us see what exactly the question is given to us. Write a précis of the passage given below. A passage is given to us. We need to read the passage. We need to take the central idea, and accordingly we need to write a précis. Now please try to relate what is the length of the passage. You know how to casually relate the word limit. Just try to find out how many words are there in one line and just multiply it with the number of lines given. And in this, we normally omit the articles a and the. We normally omit the one word or the two word alphabetic prepositions like to, on, in, on, at, etc. So if we try to relate the word limit here, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Approximately 12 to 14 words per line. How many lines are there? Line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if you are approximate value you are taking, it should be around 160 to 170 words paragraph. So we have a basic thing in our mind that our précis should be one third of it. So maximum if it is 170 to 180 words, our précis should be between 50 to 60 words. This is the first thing that we kept in mind. Now second thing, while going through the passage, first go through the passage as a whole. You will get a basic idea of this passage. Then second time when you are reading it, you should be now underlining the main ideas, main points, the central idea, the essential, non-essential things, everything. So let's start up with the first example. Let us see what the passage is saying to us. A life of action and danger. Now I am underlining to make you relate where I am reading. It's not important that I am underlining these important things. Fine. I hope you got it. A life of action and danger moderates the dread of death. It not only gives us fortitude to bear pain, but also teaches us at every step the precarious tenure on which we hold our present being. Sedentary and studious men are the most apprehensive on this score. Dr. Johnson was an instant in point. A few years seemed to him soon over, compared with those sweeping contemplations on time and infinity with which he had been used to pose himself. In the still life of a man of letters, there was no obvious reason for a change. He might sit in an armchair and pour out cups of tea to all eternity, would it had been possible for him to do so. The most rational cure, after all, for the inordinate fear of death is to set a just value on life. If we mere wish to continue on the scene, to indulge our headstrong humor and tormenting passions, we had better be gone at once, and if we only cherish a fondness for existence, according to the good we desire from it, the pang we feel at parting, which it will not be very severe, it should be severe, I suppose. Fine. So this is basically the passage. We have read the passage. We have just tried to relate it is about death and the fear of death and how to remove that fear. In other words, how to live life. Now, how should you go for writing the précis for this paragraph? Let us see. As per the steps that we have discussed earlier, we will follow these steps because this is just an example given to you in order to implement what you have learned. So the first step is to identify the main idea. And after reading this text, we were able to identify the idea that this text particularly discusses the people's fear of death. And this passage details why some people fear death and how this fear can be overcome. Fine. I hope you were also able to get this main idea. Now what is the second step? It is to identify the main points or the facts. Now what are the main points or the main facts we got to get from this passage? That we do not fear death if we live an active life. Those people who fear death are the ones who spend much time sitting and studying. And why does it happen? This happens because they lead an inactive and peaceful life. They have a sedentary lifestyle and they do not want any change. The most sensible way of ridding oneself of the fear of death is by valuing life, and we should be comfortable with the knowledge that life is unpredictable and that our hold upon life is very uncertain. So, these are the main ideas that we got from this passage. Third step is providing a suitable title. The suitable title is what we can make out is the fear of death. Now, as per the title and the content that we were able to comprehend after reading that passage, we will write our first draft. What is it? If we lead an active life facing dangers, we will fear death less. People who spend a lot of their time lazing around and leading a peaceful life are the ones who are most afraid of death. This is because they do not want any change. The most sensible way of getting rid of the fear of death is to value life properly. And if we do not give unnecessary importance to our life, we will not feel the pang of death. So, this is our first draft that we have made. After reading it, this is now very important because this is what you need to learn. Editing the work that you have written. We already know that the précis cannot be more than one third of the length of the original text. And we have already seen that the passage is approximately 170 to 80 words or about 200 words. The précis cannot and should not exceed 65 words. But if we relate the draft that we have made, it consisted of 80 words, which are much more than our desired word limit. So we need to edit it. Example is given to you. Now this is very important to relate. Let us see how. In the first draft, we have written people who spend a lot of their time lazing around and leading a peaceful life are the ones who are most afraid of death. This is because they do not want any change. Now, just in order to emphasize one simple fact, we have used 2.5 lines. And this, if we try, we can rewrite it more succinctly in the following manner that people who lead a lazy and peaceful life are the most afraid of death. Now, people who spend a lot of their time lazing around and leading a peaceful life are the ones who are most afraid of death. This is because they do not want any change. So in this we are able to relate that this is because they do not want any change is not as much important as the idea to emphasize that what type of people are most afraid of death. Why they are most afraid of death? That is a secondary point now. So people who are the most afraid of death are the ones who lead a lazy and peaceful life. So now, instead of writing these 40 words, 35 words, we have expressed it in only 10 to 12 words. This is the skill you need to master while writing a précis. You need to be able to reach that level where you yourself can see, you can relate that where exactly you are just repeating your words. Fine. And where you can use less words to convey the same thing, and where you can omit any unnecessary detail. If you think that this is important, that because they do not want any change, you can add it also. It's not that we have to just write what the book is saying to us. We can use our own creativity. So, people who lead a lazy and peaceful life and don't want any change are the most afraid of death, right? This is because they do not want any change. Simply, we have written as they don't want any change. So we have added four more words. So we have just included that idea also. So it all depends on us, how we relate it and how we want to present it. So now we can make our final draft. And this is now what is the Précis. The fear of death. This is the title that we have given. And what exactly is the summarized Précis form? If we lead an active life, facing dangers, we will fear death less. People who lead a lazy and peaceful life, who don't want change or who fear change. See, fear change and are most afraid of death. The most sensible way of getting rid of the fear of death is to value life properly. Correct? If we do not give unnecessary importance to our life, we will not feel the pang of death. Now, if you try to relate, this is approximately 55 to 60 words. And this is what we need to do. This is a Précis. So I hope that you are able to get a basic idea of how a Précis is written, how it should be written, how you should go for the various steps, and finally reproduce the exact idea and in the same order. That order in itself plays a very important role. You need to make sure you are writing it in the same order. Fine. Let us try to now attempt it on our own. A simple passage is given to us and seemingly a quite big one, and we will see what it contains and how to write a Précis of this particular passage. So let us go through the sample passage given to us. In this passage, what is being said is sentence correction is probably the easiest subsection within the verbal section of the GMAT for you to improve. So sentence correction is probably the easiest subsection. From this, the first basic thing we concluded is the passage is about GMAT, which has a verbal section, and in that the easiest subsection is sentence correction, right? Doing well on this section is really a function of knowing your grammar rules very well and then practicing them and nauseum with high quality practice problems. So for this sentence correction, knowing the grammar rules and practicing is important. Spend some time figuring out what the best materials are, study those materials, and then go back and study the materials a few more times to make sure you have the grammar rules down cold. So in order to know the grammar, we need to read the different study material, right? It is important to do so because you will want to get these questions done quickly. so that you can save time for the more time consuming critical reasoning and reading comprehension sections. So why we are practicing, why we are doing this from study materials? Because important thing is to save time. Simple. Now there are a few good books out there to learn the fundamentals of sentence correction. Now since the second paragraph is also stating about sentence correction, we assume that this passage is about GMAT and sentence correction. Let us try to read further to gather more information. So, there are a few good books, but I use the Manhattan GMAT Sentence Correction Guide. I have also looked through the Aristotle Sentence Correction book and can say that is of very high quality as well. The Manhattan GMAT book was really great and was very clear and concise in describing all the grammar rules. I needed to learn. My main complaint about it is that it doesn't have very many practice problems. So now he is coming in the second paragraph on the Manhattan GMAT book. He has told about the merits, the various good points about the book. Now he's talking about the negative points, that it doesn't have many practice problems. From what I can tell, this book seems to be the standard book that people suggest when talking about this section of the test, and I don't disagree. In case you are wondering, you don't actually have to learn that many grammar rules for the GMAT. The number of rules you have to learn pales in comparison to the topics you must know for the math section of the test. However, the questions on the GMAT are very tricky. So from now the Manhattan GMAT book, merits demerits, he has come to the actual way the questions of GMAT will be asked. So you should go through the Manhattan GMAT book 5-6 times, again coming to the same book, and even make flashcards to make sure you have every rule absolutely down cold. If you do, then you should be able to focus on the meaning of each sentence, which is usually what is required for the harder questions on the test. For practice problems, I really just use the official guide and the official guide verbal supplement. Those were really great resources for practice problems, right? Next paragraph is quite a lengthy paragraph. This is, I would also recommend memorizing idioms for the test. Memorizing idioms, making flashcards, right? This is what he is emphasizing. As of the last few months, idioms are less of a focus on the test, but knowing idioms down cold is an easy way to get an extra question or two correct. You also don't really need to spend that much time memorizing them, so why wouldn't you want to do it? As I mentioned before, there are instances on more difficult problems where you need to assess the meaning of the sentence and what it is trying to convey. Keeping this in mind, and try not to obsess over very detailed grammar rules. When in doubt, go for the answer choice that seems to have the most logical meaning over the one that appears to follow some minute grammar rule the best. So how to attempt the questions? If the meaning of the original sentence is changed in one of the answer choices, it is definitely a wrong answer choice. If you follow this advice, I guarantee that you will do well on the sentence correction section on the GMAT. So this is quite a lengthy paragraph based on the GMAT examination. The source given is free articles from articlesfactory.com. So here, now let us try to gather what this particular writer is trying to relate. In the first paragraph, he has mainly focused on what things? He has focused on the fact that sentence correction is the easiest subsection within the verbal section of the GMAT. For that, we need to know the grammar rules, we need to practice them, then we need to study various books and material to know how to save time, right? Now he is talking about a few good books in which he has mentioned Manhattan GMAT Science Correction Guide and Aristotle Sentence Correction book. The Manhattan one was great and clear and concise, right? But the problem with that is not having many practice problems, right? That is what he is trying to say. Then he came to the part that in order to learn better, you need to read the Manhattan GMAT book 5-6 times and even make the flashcards so that you have every rule absolutely down cold. Then for practice problems, the official guide and the official guide verbal supplement were the great resources as per him. Next, he talks about the importance of memorizing idioms, that it will give an extra question or two correct. Next is you need to have more focus on difficult problems. You should not be obsessed about detailed grammar rules, right? And he's saying how to actually make the correct option. So this is what we could gather from this particular passage. So we have a bit of the rough draft in our mind, and after relating it, let us see how he has represented it in the form of this précis. Because it is a very long paragraph, therefore the précis has to be a bit bigger one. We can relate the word limit, that is not an issue. Let us see giving a title. This is our précis. Now what exactly is the title? GMAT sentence correction. How to get better. How to crack GMAT through sentence correction. Any possible heading related to GMAT, related to sentence correction, and related to improvement or scoring. How to score better, how to prepare. You could have used anything. Now, let us see how he has presented the précis. The sentence correction of the GMAT is very doable. Knowing your grammar rules and practicing them will ensure success. Identify the best study material, study them a few times to ensure you have the rules on your fingertips. See, this is what we actually marked. We marked sentence correction, GMAT, we marked the grammar rules, we marked practicing, we marked the best study material and study them a few times. This is all what even we marked in the very first time without reading it second time. After that, we need to maintain the order, and in the second and third paragraph, what he had tried to say, we are going to reproduce in our own sentences. Some reference books that you could use to learn the fundamentals of sentence correction are Manhattan GMAT Sentence Correction Guide and Aristotle Sentence Correction Book. You don't actually have to learn that many grammar rules for the GMAT. However, the questions on the GMAT are very tricky, so you should make sure you have every rule absolutely down cold. Next is saying there are instances on more difficult problems where you need to assess the meaning of the sentence and what it is trying to convey. Now, how to attempt such questions? When in doubt, go with the answer choice that seems to have the most logical meaning over the one that appears to follow some minute grammar rule the best. Now, this is what we have taken as it is from the passage because this is the absolute suggestion. Then we can just put the writer's view in front that also remember that the answer is definitely incorrect if the meaning of the original sentence is changed. So this is the précis that we have written based on the above passage. The title I already told you that you can just manipulate and change the title as per your own thought process, as per your own creativity, not an issue about it at all, right? So this is how we have written, and you can see that now the word limit of this précis is too much. Why? Because the passage in itself was very lengthy. And if you relate it with the passage, it is actually to the length of one third of the original length of the passage. Clear? In the passage, there were approximately 6 paragraphs given. We have concised every 2 paragraphs, we have concised into one, and we have put forth the actual idea of this passage but in the same order, even though it is in our words, but it is in the same order which it should have been. Clear? So this is an example of précis, and I think that you are able to comprehend what exactly précis writing is and what exactly and how exactly it should be written. The various steps definitely you need to keep in mind. Initially, when you are trying to attempt précis writing, it will be a bit of time consuming, no doubt. You need to practice lot many paragraphs, no doubt. But once you know, once you learn how to actually manipulate the given information, how to differentiate between the essential and the non-essential ideas, and then how to represent them in your own words, then you will be able to do it very comfortably. Fine. So this is all about today's class. I hope that you need some time to get a basic idea of précis. Please go through these samples. Please go through the steps once again that we have studied above. Please make sure that you understand the concept of précis writing and you relate the process how to do précis writing, right? In the next class, I'll definitely take up a few more examples of précis writing and will be taking up the exercise. Fine. So let's meet up in the next class, continuing the précis writing. Until then, make sure you study whatever is taught in the today's class. Clear, everyone? So take care, enjoy yourself, stay happy, stay healthy. Goodbye, everyone.